In the shadows of automotive history, there's a secret garage full not of rusty relics, but of cars too wild, too powerful, or too controversial to ever hit the road. Here are 10 super forbidden cars, cars so outrageous they had to be destroyed before the first piston had even fired.
Let's take a moment to appreciate a fascinating wartime machine, the Cadillac Series 75 military ambulance. This vehicle is a striking example of how luxury met necessity during one of the most pivotal periods in modern history, World War II. So, what exactly was it? The Series 75 was originally Cadillac's flagship luxury sedan, a symbol of American elegance and engineering. But when the US entered the war, Cadillac adapted the platform to build ambulances for the Army. These weren't civilian Cadillacs with a new paint job. They were specially modified for military use, stretched, reinforced, and stripped of unnecessary comforts in favor of utility and battlefield durability. Now, here's the key question. Why weren't these vehicles road legal after the war? Simple. They were never registered for civilian use. Like many wartime vehicles, they were built for government service only. No license plates, no VINs by modern standards, and no compliance with civilian regulations. When the war ended, most were decommissioned, scrapped, or repurposed on military bases, not sold to the public. But what makes the Cadillac Series 75 military ambulance special is the unusual pairing. Cadillac luxury meets battlefield duty. Think about it. A brand known for chauffeuring presidents and socialites, suddenly repurposed to save lives under fire. It was reliable, powerful, and built with the kind of craftsmanship that made it suitable for even the roughest conditions. Today, surviving examples are extremely rare and highly collectible, not because they were flashy, but because they embody a unique moment when American luxury engineering served a higher purpose. Let's fire up the engines, literally, and take a look at one of the wildest concept cars to ever come out of General Motors, the Chevrolet XP300. Developed in the late 1940s and early 1950s, this prototype wasn't just ahead of its time, it was in another dimension. So, what was the XP300? It was part of GM's post-war vision for the future, a time when cars would be faster, sleeker, and packed with cutting-edge technology. The XP300 wasn't intended for production. It was a rolling laboratory, a concept vehicle designed to push the boundaries of what an automobile could be. And push it did. The XP300 featured radical styling for the era. Long, low, aerodynamic, with fighter jet influences all over the design. But the real insanity was under the hood. What made it so wild? It used rocket fuel injection. Yes, actual rocket fuel components were tested in the engine. The car ran on a highly volatile blend of methanol, benzol, and nitromethane, fuels more suited to a missile than a daily driver. The goal was to explore high-performance combustion systems, not to build a practical road car. Which brings us to the obvious question: why wasn't it road legal? Because it was never meant to be. The XP300 used experimental fuels, untested technologies, and aggressive designs that didn't meet any safety or emission standards. It was a showpiece, a mechanical fantasy, built for display at GM's Motorama shows, where it wowed the public and hinted at what the future might look like. Today, the XP300 stands as a reminder of that post-war era when automakers dared to dream big, even if it meant using rocket fuel. It wasn't street legal, but it was absolutely unforgettable.
Today, we're looking at a vehicle that served two very different roles in American history: the Dodge Power Wagon WC series. Originally built for World War II, it started as a tough military truck and ended up laying the groundwork for the modern 4x4 workhorse. During the war, Dodge developed the WC series as part of the U.S. military's light truck fleet. These trucks were incredibly rugged and versatile, used to transport troops, tow artillery, and carry supplies across every kind of terrain. Built to be durable and easy to repair, they were perfect for the battlefield. But here's the catch. These trucks were never meant for civilian roads. Why? Because they were government property, produced under wartime contracts and not registered for public use. They didn't meet civilian road standards, had no license plates, and weren't legally available for private ownership. In other words, they were banned for civilian use during the war. After the war, however, Dodge saw an opportunity. Farmers, ranchers, and industries needed the same kind of toughness the military had relied on. So in 1946, Dodge introduced the civilian Power Wagon, a direct descendant of the WC series. It used the same basic platform, but added what was needed for everyday life: fenders, lights, a civilian cab, and road legal status. Why does it matter? Because the Power Wagon WC series shows how military innovation can lead to civilian transformation. It's a perfect example of a battlefield vehicle becoming a backbone of post-war American industry.